Hey guys, welcome to the Mo and O Show. My name is Omar Gonzalez.
And I'm Mo Morales.
And where have we been?
We haven't been anywhere. That's the problem. We don't exist.
So we're trying something new here, guys. Those of you that are on the YouTube channel and are confused, we decided to just put the microphones on and just record an audio. And what's weird is like we're looking at each other.
I don't like looking at him. It's so uncomfortable.
I've been listening to have you heard the Conan O'Brien podcast?
In the past.
Yeah, so Conan O'Brien has a great podcast called Conan O'Brien Wants to Make a Friend. Mm-hmm. And he brings on stars and stuff. But there's something to be said about an audio experience when you're driving, when you're just passively listening. It's so different than watching.
It is, because when you're listening to something, it's just a podcast of audio. You're not worried about what did I miss.
What did I miss?
One, it's safer. No one's going to pull over and go get wrecked because they're looking at their phone. And two, it actually allows you to immerse yourself into it.
And emerge if they're selling.
Yes. Oh, God. Click on whatever we're selling. I don't know what it is this week.
I wanted to tell you a quick story on impulse buying, which I know you're always guilty of.
No idea what you're talking about, baby.
But Flossie Carter did a review of the Apple's
AirPods? AirPod Pros?
Yeah.
AirPod Pros?
Did you happen to see he did a episode on AirPod Pro, like there were like imitation ones for like $89.
Right.
And he opened both up. They were identical. He was like freaking out in the video. And he had a link. And I just hit buy. It was like the most impulsive I've ever been.
Did you watch the rest of his video to see if you liked it or not?
Yeah. I went through the review.
So
they sound the same.
He said they were great?
He said they were great.
Okay.
Until someone in the comments said, do you think they sent you, iPod Pros, like the authentic ones? Knowing, doesn't that make sense? The company would send him.
They would send him a real deal pair saying they're fake, so that when he gets hyped about it, someone in the audience named Omar will click the link and buy and get the garbagey ones.
Impulse. I learned a long time ago, anything that's too good to be true probably 100% is. And I was so blind here because he's like, this is a major go.
Was it 3 majors or just 2?
It was 3 or 4.
Yeah, it's like, go. It's for real, son.
And then after buying it, I saw a post from him. He took the video down and made it unlisted. But if you go to his site and go to community, he put a post up saying, whoa, let me find out more. And to his credit, he kept texting the company saying that my listeners...
I saw this now. My listeners are questioning the authenticity of the ones you
What are they
send
going to
me.
get?
Right.
He's asking.
Are we getting the same thing that Flossie's getting? Or are we going to get some other garbagey other thing, other than the real deal?
Yeah.
Or the real fake deal.
Yeah.
Are the real fake deals real so that they're not a deal?
I know. So I went to see if I could return them, but I said, you know what? The info that he got back from the company, they were like, it's 100% they're going to be real. Not real, but they're going to be what he tested.
Okay.
So I probably got
them
duped. I got duped. No, it was like 2 days ago. It's like 5 to 7 week shipping.
Well, you know what? If it pans out that they were awesome, good for you for having second thoughts, and then maybe in general you won't make any more
that mistake again. Yeah.
Or it could be they'd be so awesome for the price that you're like, I'm gonna do this all the time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy that car.
I think I'm admitting this almost like as a public service announcement. Sometimes you do bonehead things impulsively, and that was such an easy buy. Now, the good news is that if you bought them through PayPal, you can get your money back by claiming some kind of fraud.
Right.
So that at least works out.
And I think, and you guys correct us if I'm wrong, but I think photographers or gearheads in general are more likely to do an impulse buy than people living the gear-free life,
Do you have too much stuff?
I have way too much stuff.
Yeah.
I have stuff that the minute I was going to buy an iMac yesterday. A MacBook Pro yesterday because they were $800 for the 2018 model.
Oh my God.
But then I'm like, but I barely use my computer.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with them? So as I've gotten older, I mean this in the last year and a half probably, I've actually become less impulsive than the older me, where everything was like, that's new. Get it.
Yeah. Well, if we understand where it comes from, which is like the little high you get, the little dopamine that's released with a gift coming. A gift you paid for it. Credit card statement.
Yes, from my wallet to me.
Exactly. So the joy you get from the package, if you sort of start to see that it doesn't amount to much, I rebought, for example, the Canon 85 1.8 is such a bang for your buck goodbye. I've bought it twice. Like I sold it because this is super stupid. I've sold it because I never used it. I stopped using it because I went towards the 50 or the 100 and over millimeter. But it was like on sale, and we should talk about this now because Black Friday is coming,
right? And
here in America, And so what Black Friday is
it's the day after Thanksgiving here in America, where everyone sells something, according to them, ridiculously cheaper than it would be anywhere else at any other time. Except now that they have pre-Black Friday sales in September now.
And post, like Cyber
and Cyber Monday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they've made it so easy for those who can't control themselves on clicking a button, on going to a store and buying stuff. It's so easy for us to do impulse buying. Best Buy put a pre-Black Friday sale on the MacBook Pro. And I'm thinking I needed something to start editing my videos on, to this, that, and the other. And then I said to myself, one, don't interrupt me. I said, one, I don't even use my computer, which I just finished building a few months ago, and it's like top of the line. Two, what videos am I editing?
Yeah.
I don't make videos.
Well, you could be editing these.
Oh, hey, what? Huh?
We've lost the feed.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know where this new adultness of me came, but lately I've been able to talk myself out of stuff, you know.
And when you find out what's really important, you know, people and family and friendship. But the real truth of why I started doing it was I saw a video on minimalism. And I don't want to be a full minimalist, but I definitely want to come into my office and not have it be completely cluttered. And we've talked about this before, but your argument is always you can't change the person. Like, we are sloppy, throw on the floor bums. Can you change your behavior?
No, temporarily you can. Everything at this point in our life, everything that we've learned, it's there. It's not going away. We can modify it. We could have 2 cups of coffee in the course of a day instead of 8, but you're going to drink coffee.
Well, what do you say to someone that has like an addiction or alcoholism or, you know, drug abuse? You're going to be like, sorry, you would be the worst.
Well, let's be honest with ourselves. Those people who have that level of addiction live minute to minute from
counseling,
falling.
And
So they're not a different person.
Yeah.
They're just being forced to exercise a different level of control.
Irresponsibility.
Right.
So you could apply that really to clutterness if you had like a daily sort of...
But there's no life-threatening, result.
I'm going to throw these shoes.
Well, unless, of course, you almost trip over your desk like you did a few minutes ago.
Oh, my God.
He almost died,
Look at the stuff in here.
Yeah.
So, and then what did you do? You came over and you gave me something because you're trying to purge. And
what did I give you?
You gave me the phone. What am I going to do with that?
I don't remember what I gave you.
The phone, you're like, my son
I got 2 of those. So
yeah.
I figured, you know what? Instead of, I got him something so his son and him could have quality time, and I'm a jerk. You know what? Yeah. Screw you.
You're ruining my minimalism.
I don't want him in my life.
All right.
Okay.
So those of you wondering where the show has been, our schedules have just been completely packed. And the show takes a little bit of production because it's a video and audio podcast. But what we decided to do this time was just record audio. Because going back to Conan, I really enjoyed that immersive listening to him talk to guests. And I said, we should do that. We should just, and now we're facing each other and talking.
It's very awkward.
You're totally staring at the wall.
I don't want to look at you.
Look into my soul.
I just don't feel comfortable. Like, I don't even know you.
No, and don't you agree that part of it is like we look up at the camera to make sure that it's still recording, that people are seeing us?
Right. It's not in focus. The light's not, the natural daylight is coming in perfectly.
Yeah, it's a little distracting. So I think let's try audio for this week at least, just to get something up. And it was so much easier. How quick was it to set this up?
Like 4 minutes?
Exactly.
When I wanted to go out today for some street photography, I actually ended up getting down to Midtown, 39th Street in Manhattan.
What camera did you bring?
I brought the A6400, which is my now go-to for quick and go.
Cool.
And I only brought the baddest 25 on it, making it about a 34, 35 on there.
Perfect.
And so I took it. And I start walking down the street, and as soon as I start heading towards, I wanted to go by the B&H area because that's like really
34th Street in New York.
Yeah, but you also get the sense of life, people walking, working, doing things, as opposed to other areas where it's you get one person that early in the morning, you might be lucky. And what ended up happening is I ended up seeing this girl in a Yu-Gi-Oh costume. And
I don't even know what that is.
Yu-Gi-Oh. Anyway, 5 seconds later, I see someone else in a Ash Ketchum uniform, which is from the Pokemon series.
Okay.
And I'm like, there must be some kind of con going on somewhere, a Comic-Con, a Movie-Con, something going on somewhere.
So you just followed these people.
So I start heading to the Javits Center, thinking if it's anywhere, it's going to be there. And I was right. There was the 2000. This is the third annual Anime Con in New York City for 2019, and I ended up buying a ticket, which was more expensive than I thought it was going to be. And I walked in, and it was, you know what, the best thing I've done in a while. Here's why I brought it up. It helped remind me of the things I need to work on to getting photography in the street done, asking people permission to take pictures of them or not.
And it's safe at these cons.
It's very safe.
The cosplay people are like the nicest people. They want their picture taken.
They spent 8 hours getting dressed, and they spent 18 months planning the outfit.
Yeah.
They want their picture taken. They want it everywhere. So it's very easy to walk up to someone and say, hey, do you mind if I take a picture of you? And not one person said no.
I know.
Even the one person that was super decked out in like robo armor, he didn't even say no. He just said, hey, I have to get over there. But if you get me over there, by all means, take as many pictures as you want. It's just it's like
it's so
shooting
visually
fish,
interesting.
Catching fish in a barrel. Is that how it goes?
Yeah. Killing fish and murdering fish in a barrel.
Shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah, I did. In Toronto, we were walking around and I saw Captain America. I don't know if you remember. I posted a Captain America picture up, and it was the same thing. That I'm like, can I do a quick pic? Can I do a quick picture of you? All of a sudden, I'm posing him. I'm like, can you pretend you're looking around the corner at some bad guys? Yeah, I did the photo expo, and there's a lot of opportunity there. So I think if you have a trade show or an expo show near you, it's a good place to just, even if you're not shooting, to be around. Photography makes you feel like, you're around other people that have the same interests. So what are your thoughts on photo walks? Do you think they're useful or useless? I saw one that had 45 photographers, 2 leaders. This was a Sony photo walk. And then they had one like breakdancer person.
Oh.
And the breakdancer person was doing their thing, and everyone is shooting the same picture.
Okay, so
there's good and bad, I guess.
I like a photo walk where it's a planned walk, right? And along the way, you actually stop, talk about things, and you share information. I don't like photo walks that are planned around one model in a specific area to say, agreed. And then you're going to charge me money for that too.
Yeah.
So I was going to do the photo walk because I was supposed to go to that photo expo as well, and I saw that photo walk, and I thought it was going to be free. I don't know why I thought that, but then it was like some ridiculous dollar amount, like $1,200 or something like that.
Oh wow!
Yeah, one of those, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it.
No, these Sony ones I think were free.
Well, Sony's different.
Yeah, they were just getting people excited.
I couldn't believe they were charging people thousands of dollars to walk with them. I'm like, what? Someone's willing to pay for it.
Someone's going to pay for it.
Someone's willing to do it. And you know what? There might have been more than half the group that learned something.
Yeah.
Maybe he did spend time with each and every person. That's why he kept it to a group of 30.
I just find, like, I used to go to all these classes and courses. I find I learn more from Creative Live, from YouTube, and from my plastic head here.
Your doll head.
Yeah, awesome. My doll head. I learn everything quicker by tinkering. The movement is a lot faster. My end game is going to be, I need good skin softening. 1, 2, 3, search, Piximperfect, try this, try that. I learn it really quick as opposed to signing up for a class, sitting in a class, going through all the basics. Here are your brushes. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
These classes aren't catered specifically to how you learn.
No.
But YouTube is, and Creative Live is, and Skillshare probably is. You can learn it. People don't want to put the time in. They just want to know.
That's why in YouTube, if you're not teaching to that person's standard, they should just click you right off.
Click off, move somewhere else.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, and then there's plenty of people are going to learn from your technique, and then you're teaching them exactly how they need to learn. But there's some people that are more advanced than that, and they don't want it. And that's a beautiful thing about YouTube and Creative Live, because you get the information from Creative Live, you double check it with YouTube, and then you practical app it with your head.
Practical app. And you know what's funny? Sometimes it doesn't work out. Like how many times have we talked about frequency separation for skin smoothing? I've watched so many tutorials. And sometimes I don't really see much of a difference. And the one now that I'm learning like crazy, because it's not just something you could push a button on, is artistically dodging and burning. And if you go heavy-handed on that, it destroys your picture. I have to keep undoing.
Right.
And that one, even though you watch lessons, and if you were to sit in a class, it doesn't matter. That one you have to do and do
over
and
do
over
again,
and over. And hit before and after.
Yeah.
So and then hit opacity down, and you're like, whoa, I see it now.
Yeah. So you can't, if people, I was one of those people that didn't see it. And I had no need for dodge and burn, but you know, when you use it and you use it where you feel like, wow, actually, like you said, when I used it for a while at first, it was like, what did I do to my picture? Oh my God, this is worse than I started with.
Yeah, because you don't know where. By the way, those of you that don't know what dodge and burn is, dodge is when you lighten parts of the image. And before, I used to think that you were lightening like areas that were dark. And that you dodged, or I'm sorry, you burned, like you darkened things that were too bright in the picture. Right. And it turns out that you're supposed to brighten what's bright and darken what's dark to sort of give the image like a spherical three-dimensional look.
A bigger contrast, a way that looks contrasting in a way that actually jumps out at you.
Jumps out, and it's so subtle. That's the problem. It's so subtle. The shadows just got darker, and the brighters just got a little brighter, and then evened.
That's the key word, subtle, because we're not trained initially to look for the subtle.
Yeah.
And to look how to create the subtle. We're taught to, you have to be able to see everything I just did. I should be able to see it right away.
Yeah.
If you're doing it, that means your opacity is too high.
Yeah. Well, let's do it this way. Let's put it this way. If you're seeing a picture on Instagram from like a pro, and you're like, damn, that looks good. That has dodging and burning on it, but for sure. It's got like skin smoothing and subtle dodge and burn, like Danny Diamond. Let's use Danny Diamond as an example. He's a natural light photographer, uses beautiful light, but damn, his dodging and burning and perfect. He just makes. If we had the YouTube channel, I'd put it. Sorry, this is an audio only podcast.
Sorry, but that's the thing. Like, I mean, even today, because I only started doing it no, I'll take it back. I came back to dodging and burning this year. Maybe May, when I did this birthday, and then I had some things I wanted to touch up and make them pop, and I started using it, and I realized I wasn't ready to start posting those yet. Yeah. So I've learned so much, but like you said, you have to keep doing it. I was like, I'm not really comfortable with my dodging and burning it. It's much better. Yeah. It's much more subtle. Even though I know how much work I put into it, it's much more subtle, which means I'm moving in the right direction.
Yeah, totally.
But I still don't feel like, I just still look at it like, it's crap. It's all crap.
Tell me if this is an impulse buy. I feel like if I had an iPad Pro with the pencil, which has pencil pressure, and then sitting and doing dodging and burning, instead of sitting at a computer or the Wacom tablet, looking up at the screen, actually drawing on, I feel like that's what I want to buy right now.
You're not alone. You're not alone. Actually, I was on my way to T-Mobile this morning to see how much it would charge for an iPad
Pro.
Yeah, but then I thought to myself, I know that here's what stopped me. T-Mobile in the store would only carry the 64 gigabyte.
Oh, that'll kill you. Yeah, if you want to do photo edits.
So you'd have to do it online or not do it at all.
You got to attach something. Yeah.
So no, I was just thinking about the same exact thing because I built my computer and I love my computer. I made the mistake of buying a 256 gig internal hard drive.
Yeah.
And I have to now swap that out, and I'm just dreading doing that because then I have to re-window it, all that stuff. So while it liberated me from the really, but then I bought a low-level Mac. I'm not going to blame Apple for it. I'm going to say that I thought getting into the Mac world with a low Mac was going to save my life.
It should, though. I mean, you're paying $1,000.
It did make my color proofing easier. It made a lot of things better for me, but having that old-fashioned hard drive was what killed me because it was so slow towards the end there. So getting the new speed was awesome, but now I realize that my hard drive is almost full. I mean, I have 4 external hard drives, but moving stuff to
it's a
work
pain.
with.
It's a pain. Yeah.
That small of a drive, it's
You
not
know what
enough.
you could get? I've seen that works great. People use these $80 SSD. They're like 512 gigs, and they even have 1 terabyte for maybe $100. Like cheap. Like SSDs are going down. They're little Samsung dudes.
That's the one I'm looking at.
Yeah,
So
and you plug it into your computer, and that's your working drive. Use the other ones as your, and everything's quick off that drive.
I might do that because I have a, like I said, a 256 SSD internal, and it's just full with between the programs and stuff like that.
I would start with the $80.
And that's what it is, because I saw the new ones are the 960s. I was looking at last year's model, the 870s.
Black Friday. Are we talking stuff to buy, buddy?
No. If you do, affiliate links below.
So, wait, I want to go back to learning a little bit because I always have this itch to get better. Always. I'm always practicing. I went to the venue this weekend, and I was like, I get like nervous. Like, I always want to try new things. And this weekend, you know what I tried brand new that was, it was so weird, but it worked so great. Bouncing an AD200. You know, you have the AD200s, right? Oh, you don't have an AD200?
No, I have the 860.
Like the regular flash
I
guys.
have their super flash, not their 200s. It's
the 200 is the speedlight looking one.
Yeah,
that's a power of 3 speedlights. I tried a new technique that I practiced in here. I don't feel like I have enough power if the ceilings are really high and white.
Right.
On my on-camera flash to bounce during certain moments. And I was like, how can I get more power? I can put something off camera. The problem with putting something off camera on a light stand in a venue is it's always pointing in the in the same direction.
Right.
So I'm like, I need to put 3 up and turn them on or turn them off as I run around like a mate. You see me running around like an idiot. I held this guy for part of the night. I turned off my on-camera flash, and I had this guy at like half power. Think about it. This guy's 3 speed lights.
Right.
And it's kaboom! And that's why I have this black foamy thing on it, so that people are like,
no one loses all their eyesight.
Yes. Anyone behind me is like, go dog!
I can't drive home today. Thank you.
My eyes. Susan! So I was pointing it up like this, and if you point it right behind you, you fill in all wrinkles. If I point it to the left, holding like this, you get like little Rembrandt lighting. Like I can move it around. Now, every now and then, by the way, I'd be holding it like this, and I'm pointing it on the ground, by the way, and I'd get Halloween lighting. I'm like, what's going on? But I always loved learning and trying a new technique, and that I'm excited about, and this was one of those.
And so it worked out in a way that you hoped?
Yes, I would use it
or
again.
Better.
And if you notice, I put a little clip on it, so it could be on my belt.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, so
real smart. But his bat belt.
So I was going to ask you, like, what do you want to learn? What do you want to get better at? Because we all say we want to get better at photography. And is there like a specific thing that you would like dive in the rabbit hole and learn?
To me, it's always lighting. I mean,
Yeah.
it's always lighting because you can have the same scene.
Artificial light,
Yes.
like setting up lights.
You can have the same scene, natural light, speed light, strobes, and a filter, a barn door,
I love that stuff.
a beauty
barn
dish.
Door. Hey, we put a grid on this. We put a barn door.
A flag here.
Yes.
I mean,
and we've never done that.
No, because
I've never flagged.
You can't flag in an event. That's impossible.
Oh yeah. But I mean, if we're doing a portrait,
I bought pieces of foam so I can flag that I've never flagged with. Super gear that you don't need.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. I'm going to need 4 feet of foam.
Listen, I need you to build me a house of foam.
Of white foam.
But that's what it is. Like, I've purchased all these things and it's not because I am never going to use it. It's because I want to use it. And because I love,
you're right.
I love lighting. Don Giannotti, aka WizWow, aka the greatest light technician out there.
The string.
To this day, the string. 5.6 right here, baby. Anyway, so ever since...
Hold on, let me explain the string real quick for our listeners. Don Giannotti uses a light meter, but when he doesn't have a light meter, he figured out a quick way because light in science doesn't change. So he figured out the distances of...
Fall off.
Yes, with string. So he knew if he had a piece of string on a light stand, he could pull it, and the same distance every time, like 5 feet, it was marked on the string. He knew what power his flash was. And if he knew he put an umbrella on there, he had to raise his power like by 2 stops. So he knew from string all his powers. Like he figured it all out. And so that was his little rope and string theory. You didn't need a light. That was a big light, no pun intended, a big light bulb for me, because it made me realize that if I plop my light the same spot every time at an event to a kid, I can get the same power. I just put it on the same power every time, and I could take a 5-minute portrait.
And so I took an entire course with him on Creative Live. I was actually one of the many people.
Not sponsored,
but we can be. So I was on there live, like Omar was on his little child photography one. And what I realized was that everything he was teaching me over 3 days was nothing of what he had to teach me. There's just so much you could learn about light, fall off, speculars, everything about light that I had no idea about. And you know what? It's things like that that just make me excited to learn more about light and how to better use it.
Remember, he took. I have that curtain. Do you see that scrim up there? That's because of Don Giannotti.
The shower.
Don Giannotti took a Target. Go ahead, you explain. He took
shower curtain.
Yes,
and just like threw it up on a bar on a pole. And there you got a scrim.
He took a cheap freaking light behind it. I think it was a flash, right? It was a speed light?
It was a simple speed light.
Behind a curtain.
It was one of the Canon speed lights.
He made like a 8-foot softbox. It was beautiful.
Oh.
And what was great about that class was it made you realize you didn't need all the gear.
That's what I think. Like, he didn't go in there and say, hey, you got to use your Einstein or your Braun 1844s. He just said, listen, what do you got?
What do you got? He had Home Depot work lights, I believe.
He made clam lighting with no clams. Hey, linguine. So
he also used
He made homemade beauty dish.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
DIY. But I was going to say the camera he shot on that was strange. He shot a consumer.
It was the DA60. D60?
No, it was a Canon crop camera.
That's what I'm thinking. I just can't. Obviously,
yeah,
not
it was like the
names.
60D or something.
60D.
Yeah.
The numbers are backwards. That's what it was. Yeah, it was.
That's
a 60D.
how old it was. Oh my God, they're up to the 90D now.
So that's what I thought. It was everything about that class was like light is intimidating because you don't know it.
Yeah,
it's that simple.
You really, really have to be motivated to learn about photography, like the science of photography.
Right.
If not, you're not going to understand that if someone's wearing a black leather jacket, you can't really light it. You need to sort of like reflect off it.
It's going to drink up all your flash.
Yeah.
You have to bounce something off of it.
But I know. Mm-hmm. And remember, that was like another, damn.
Like when he took that one epic old school dress woman and piece by piece put the picture together and then showed you the final result of it. While he was building it, all of us in the class were just like, my God, this guy's a genius.
Well, he's got a lot of experience, so he's older. Another example that is Joel Grimes says he shoots, like we've said it before, like his personal projects where he's learning light and stuff.
Did you have time this year for any personal projects?
I did. I am doing one. Oh, it's funny you ask. I'm doing a fake commercial shoot for a little, like a clothing company in New York with a friend.
Awesome.
And so we're going to map out. She does like clothing for kids who make their own clothes kind of thing. But she's the CEO of the company and a friend. And so I'm going to work it as if it was a commercial shoot. So I'm going to see what she needs. And so it's good experience for me as if I was like a commercial photographer.
Right. I wanted to look at my first portrait, which is exactly what it was, my first family portrait, and see where I am today.
You know what? That's a great thing to say. I also want to throw this out there, that almost for myself, but the hang up with personal jobs is getting other people involved, right? Mm-hmm. What if you did personal work with just yourself? Like, for example, this guy named Eric Hercules. What a cool name.
Boss.
He does this strange non-Photoshop floating photographs. If, again, we had the YouTube, I'd like a picture up here. But he's a commercial photographer that, like, for example, will take a Nike Air Jordan. Mm-hmm. He'll throw it up in the air, like let go of his hand and take a shot. Let go of his hand. Yeah, it's hard to describe things without being visual. He sort of like things are floating, like beer bottles are floating, people are floating, and He probably practiced all that stuff in his room. Like, hey, I'm going to let go, shoot, throw, shoot, just to get these. And now he does jobs for companies that want their yogurt or their milk like floating in midair. Ooh. And so I'm going to throw this out there. I need to start thinking of more personal work, which I kind of do, but personal work where I am practicing techniques and putting like a body of work together that doesn't involve meeting someone and, like time. And I think I find that more enjoyable. Like if I was doing macro or still life or food photography by a window. Ooh. Why don't you do that? Why don't you do food like
because I eat all my food.
Yeah.
I eat all of it before I get it to the window. But hey, let me ask you a question. There's this big black brick on the table between us.
Oh, we're going to continue? Wow. Look at Mo. He's all motivated. Yeah,
we'll wrap it up after this.
And this will be our last show ever anyway. Okay.
Anyway. So
yeah, what do you think of that?
So we're looking at, what is it, the iOS SOR?
You don't know nothing. You're such an idiot.
You know why? It's a brick. It's a big black brick.
All right. This is great. I get to describe things because there's no visual. I am holding in my hand the Canon EOS RP. This is Canon's full-frame mirrorless camera that has a flip-out screen, has a beautiful grip, and more importantly on it is this mother of a lens called the 50mm 1.2. I have this on loan from our friends at B&H. I only have it for 30 days. But what do you think?
My initial impressions is it's a big, beefy girl or a camera. It's a big, beefy camera.
Well, not the camera. Look. Hold on. Check out how cool this... Look, the sensor is hidden when the camera's off. How cool is that?
That is very cool.
Yeah.
It's still heavy compared to the Sony.
Feel this lens.
But definitely the meat came from the lens. Okay, now holding the lens separate from the body.
Yeah, totally.
It's heavier than the Sony. It's bigger than the Sony. So
isn't it better built than the Sony?
Look at it. It feels like a tank. It feels like a brick.
Right.
There's an easy grip here.
Yeah.
You don't need an extender if you don't want one.
Yeah.
I like a lot of it, but
look, the dials and the buttons are amazing.
I think the on and off button is off.
That's stupid.
Backwards.
Okay, so here are the quick, the quick pros. It's the Canon image. You know what's they're gonna kill it? The Quick Pro is they are slowly, like an army. They're building up their front line of lenses. They're coming out with Super Pro. This is a 50mm 1.2, and this lens is so sharp and so bookalicious. And they're doing that with all their lenses. They came out with 70 to 200. All their Pro lenses are out for the system already. They just don't have the camera to back up yet. This is a perfect consumer sort of advanced photographer camera. They could totally use it. But with the single card slot, no wheel, and no little thumb
joystick,
no joystick, it's a no-go for pros, I'm pretty sure.
First thing I was trying to figure out, there's a lot of things that Omar and I shoot in common by button focus. So the minute I picked it up, I knew.
Oh, there's no button focus in the back. Yeah,
there is.
I know, but how awkward is it?
Yeah. So that's what I was gonna say. There, he has the back button focus turned on, but it's in a place where you have to reach your thumb back to an awkward area.
Yeah.
I took me a second to figure out how to move the cursor, and then Omar confirmed that it's because it's a touch screen to focus type of thing.
You can move your focus point around with your thumb, which is, I don't know. I'm not crazy about that.
I prefer a joystick or a D-pad for that.
Yeah. Do you use? I mean, I'm finding I'm using the screen more when I shoot. Like this whole viewfinder only thing with shooting the Sony A7 III in an event. I'm like walking around with a little television, seeing everyone live and shooting from the hip with the TV with the LCD. Because of Sony, I have been shooting more off eye. Yeah, off eye. Yeah.
But I still feel stronger on eye. I mean,
yeah, I love the EVF.
Even though Sony A7 III doesn't have the best EVF, I still think it's much better than...
This one's nice. This one's pretty decent. I think the Canon EOS R is a great start. Listen, it's their first full-frame mirrorless camera, and they're behind like 5 years from Sony. So for the first try, it's good, but I don't know what they were thinking by adding... Oh, I love that shutter. Ready? Oh, yeah.
You're welcome.
It's a great camera. It absolutely is a great camera. And here's one of the best features. You ready? You see this little button right there?
The record button?
Yeah, so you could be doing photography, right? Let's say you have a model.
Doing all the photography.
Doing all the photography, right? I'm shooting Gwen Stacy here. Hit the record. It starts a movie right away. Hold on. It starts a movie right away. You could record, and then you just hit the record again, and you could shoot more pictures.
Wow.
No changing modes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's good for like hybrid shooters that want to do video.
Isn't there like a really big downside though?
I mean, but for me, it is this slidey button.
What is that? I didn't realize.
That button is horrible. That's Canon's like programmable slidey button. And what their idea is that it's kind of, I have it off, but you can make it like ISO and then slide like a phone.
So it's like a virtual button.
Yeah.
It's not really a button. It's like sensitive to touch.
And that's the problem is some people touch it by accident and it changes settings. So most people turn it off. It has like a safety feature where you have to push this button first to make it work. See, here it is. It's so dumb. Anyway, yeah, it needs help. The camera needs help, but it's a great start. It's not as good as Nikon's first try. That camera is a little bit more refined, the Z, except these guys got to come out with a dual card slot, you know?
So a friend of mine at my job does corporate work, and he brought in his Z7.
Wasn't it nice?
And I've tried it at last year's photo expo. I liked the way it felt. You know, I wasn't 100% sold on it. Working with my buddies, he brought the 24-70 made for it. And I was so impressed.
I know.
And it felt so good in my hands. I said, am I going to go back to Nikon?
You should probably, but you should wait till it has dual card slots.
I mean, that's what still really irks me.
Or Black Friday.
Yes.
Actually, they're on sale now.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
No, because they're probably coming out the Z7 too.
I know. The Z mothers are on like $500 off.
No, I don't want to leave Sony.
No. Sony's working for me.
Sony works perfectly for me. I like the fact that I have the APS-C as well as the regular one.
Plus their eye autofocus is killer.
The A64 can get the eye of a gnat flying and lock it into focus.
The 6400, that's a great little camera. The only negative is it doesn't have image stabilization on the body. But
let's be realistic. Sony's image stabilization is like my hair loss prevention.
Yeah.
It's not really working. Okay.
Agree. I neither. And oh my god, I just did a video with my mom in Spain with the. I had image.
I saw it. It's so cute.
Yeah, but my videography is horrible. Like the lens has image stabilization, but it looks terrible. It really does. You need like a gimbal or something.
Yes, because even our boy from the Camera Conspiracy tell you there's no real good. Besides the Micro Four Thirds, it's really hard to get super in-body stabilization or anything like that.
That GoPro fake stabilization, that looks pretty damn good.
He likes that one too.
Yeah.
Our boy.
This podcast is brought to you by Camera Conspiracies. Check out Camera Conspiracies on YouTube. He's one of our favorite channels.
He's different though.
You are warned. You are warned. Anyway, buddy.
Hey, Omar. It's good
we did like a
talking to you.
week's worth of talking right there.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm going to go home and just sleep for like an hour in 3 days.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this audio-only podcast. We will try to bring you one every 4 months at least.
Just to be consistent.
Yeah. We'll try to record more. Our schedules have filled up, but things are going to get lighter now as the year ends and the winter rolls in. So we look forward to bringing you more episodes.
Thank you for staying by. Or
all right,
hanging by or whatever words.
That was such an awkward.
I could go now.
He won't
give me a pound, folks.
No, because you just like are ruining the end.
Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. Be good. We missed you.
All right, man. That's how I'm gonna end it. Yo.